All right, it's 5:15. We're out of our executives. Got that, Tim? $5:15. We're out of our executive session, and now we're going to our regular session. The first thing we'll do is call to order and pledge allegiance. Councilmember Atkinson, will you lead us, please?
Stand. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have Councilmember Ewer online? All right, so we have everybody here in attendance. Great. At this time, it'll be citizen comments. It's a period of provided opportunity for members of the public to address the council on any matter, including items on the agenda. Comments on public hearing items will be taken during the public hearing portion of the meeting. When you come up to the mic, we just ask you to, you'll be limited to 3 minutes and asked to give your address and name for the record. And I am going to ask if we can have Steve, is it just going to be you? If you guys don't mind, we're going to have Steve do public comment first, and then we have some high school kids that would do public comment, and we'll do everybody rest, if that's okay with everybody. Hi. So come on up, Steve, if you'd like.
Steve Wilkinson, 211 Sienna Road, Wenatchee, Washington. On behalf of our entire family, I want to express our deepest gratitude for the heartfelt support we have received from, oh, I got the wrong one, I apologize here. I want to share our gratitude to the leadership, the mayor, the city council members, and also the city of Wenatchee employees for lifting up our family during a really dark time. We felt lost during our grief of our granddaughters, and we felt alone. But the city was there for us. We appreciate that the city took a moment to be symbolic, and we were humbled by the flag at half-mast. We also came one night, drove by City Hall, and we saw the colors purple, pink, and green, and those colors mean a lot to us. So we want to thank you for lifting our family up and honoring them so beautifully. As I've worked through my grief, I've come to realize something very powerful. My ability to process this pain, to begin healing, has been made possible in large part because of this community. In the beginning, we felt alone when we were navigating the search for the girls, and then their unthinkable loss, and now their overwhelming sorrow. But that was never truly the case. From the very first day of the search, people we had never met, local residents, workers, friends of friends, and friends of acquaintances reached out. I'll let that catch up. They texted us, they offered help, they searched trails, back roads, recreational areas, campsites along Blewett Pass, Icicle Creek, Leavenworth, Tumwater Canyon, Lake Wenatchee, Fish Lake, White River, Plain, Chumstick Highway. I still don't know many of those people and why they were so generous to us with their time and their hearts. I do tear up almost every time I think about these people I do not know, but their kindness will be forever a part of our story, and we thank them. We learned later of the candlelight vigils and the memorial in the park, organized quietly, without any fanfare, just simply out of love. One afternoon, my wife Rhonda and we just visited the memorial, walk in silence, taking in the candles, the flowers, and the beautiful words of prayer and remembrance left by many people we may never meet. To those who stood in the stillness of the evening and lifted our granddaughters in thought and prayer, we thank you. You carried us when we struggled to move forward. The tragedy of our granddaughter's death, their sudden loss, the unanswered questions, and the immense national and even global attention was difficult for us to navigate. We needed help planning the memorial services that would honor their lives with love and dignity that they deserved. And once again, the community stepped up. So many incredible people and businesses came together, none more graciously than the Chelan PUD, Kirk Hudson and the leadership team, the commissioners, and all the employees that worked alongside my wife. They carried us, they organized, they supported, and delivered a community memorial service that honored our granddaughters with grace, beauty, and respect. And we thank them. To each of you here tonight, and the many in our community who stood with us in countless ways, we are forever grateful to you. Your kindness, your remembrance, and your prayers have been a light to us. You honored our granddaughters, you held their family, and we will never forget it.
We need to thank you for the courage to come tonight. Thank you very much. There is 3 opportunities for the public comment this evening. This is comment period now. The public hearing for the 6-year transportation improvement program and the public hearing for the multifamily tax exemption agreement for 1417 5th Street with FCP LLC. I would ask, I believe we have some high school kids that wanted to come up and give some public comment.
Do I say my name and address? Luisana Esquivel, 1591 Pacific Court, Wenatchee, Washington. Good evening, council members. My name is Luisana Esquivel, and I am an incoming senior at Wenatchee High School. I currently serve as the Washington State Vice President of Finance for FCCLA, Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America, a student-led organization that has taught me the importance of advocating for student voices and encouraging young people to become leaders. This past January, I had the opportunity to meet Council Member Mr. Charlie Atkinson following a City Council meeting. We spoke about our shared passion for student engagement and began discussing the idea of creating an initiative that would both advise the City Council and represent the diverse voices of students throughout Wenatchee. The idea grew into a vision for a junior City Council, a body composed of Wenatchee's emerging young leaders who are committed to making a difference, driving positive change, and pursuing personal growth. Mr. Atkinson recognized the value of this initiative and invited Council Member Mrs. Mayra Navarro to join us. She has since dedicated an immense amount of time and energy to supporting this vision. Together, they have demonstrated what it truly means to invest in the future of our city by supporting its students. Tonight, I stand before you not just as a student, but as a representative of countless young people in Wenatchee who are eager to contribute, to lead, and to be heard. The creation of a junior city council is more than just a project. It's an opportunity to empower the next generation, to build stronger connections between youth and government, and to create a lasting culture of civic engagement. I respectfully urge your support in making this vision a reality for the future of our city and the voices that will one day lead it. Thank you.
Alex Rieg, 4165 West Eagle Rock Drive. Good evening once again, council members. My name is Alex Rieg, and I'm heading into my senior year at Wenatchee High School. Throughout my life, whether it was traveling with 2 other students and a group of adults on a mission trip to Arizona, or joining 10,000 teens in Florida to put together care packages for those in need, I've seen firsthand the incredible difference young people can make. Having been involved in both large and small-scale efforts to improve communities, I've come to realize how many young people share a deep desire to have their voices heard and make a meaningful impact on the places they live in. The creation of this junior city council does an incredible job of channeling that energy into something tangible. It represents a major step toward building a more integrated, generationally connected community. I believe wholeheartedly that youth are not just the generation of now. They're not just the next generation, they're the generation of now. Giving them a seat at the table is vital, not only for the future, but for the present. I especially want to thank council members Atkinson and Navarro for spearheading this process and helping bring the Junior City Council to life. They always thank us for our efforts, but I believe they deserve a huge amount of credit. This all started with a single question my friend Luisana asked, and it has grown into something far bigger than either of us could have ever imagined. I can't begin to express how excited I am to work alongside my peers on this council. I'm deeply grateful that this vision has come to fruition. Thank you for your time, council members, and thank you all for your continued dedication.
Oliver Mulaney, 515 Princeton Avenue. I am a high school junior, and I am in the Running Start program for finance this year. I heard about the Junior City Council program, and I'm very interested in learning more about how our city council works, and I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you, young leaders. Appreciate that. Okay, who's next? Come on up.
I got
You can just put it there. That'd be great.
I don't know if this is the right time or not. Lori Nelson, 933 Coolidge Drive. I saw and was listening to the whole thing with the Easy's Burgers and the construction you wanted to do. And the more I got to looking at it, I was confused as to why all the construction in that whole area. I mean, it's a lot of waste of money for something that's not going to really improve things. So the whole problem with that intersection right there is that you got people coming in and out of Wendy's and everything else, and people getting hurried to push their way over or push their way in, and people are getting rear-ended and everything and stuff. Now, if you look at the thing, if you just take the road as it is, and you put those cones down to where they can't make left or right hand turns across, and you make Wendy's an entrance only on the road, and make a big, not huge, sorry, entrance and exit on the road down below, you already have the signal lights. You have everything there. But if you take care of that, the whole problem with that, a lot of the problem is that people trying to get in and out and then trying to shove their way over and stuff. It's a simple thing to do and everything, as compared to doing U-turns, which you're giving people a whole lot of credit for being intelligent and stuff, because there's a lot of people that will flip it, and you're ending up with a lot of people getting T-boned. I used to work on the ambulance years ago, umpteen years ago and stuff. And it's like, people just aren't intelligent as people want to give them credit for and stuff. You know, they're just not and stuff. But you already have all the lights you need. All you have to do is a simple fix on that side of the road. And you're going to take away and put the cones down the center of the avenue to where they can't go across or back and forth. And you got it fixed. You don't have people coming clear over here or trying to cram clear over the other direction, because it's only an entrance then. And you're not got people shoving back their way back in, trying at the intersection itself and stuff. The better use of it would be like I tried 8 years ago, and 3 times it came back and it was always under consideration or we're looking into it. Never happened. The light right at 9th and Chelan Avenue by the clinic. I proposed then a simple fix that's similar, almost exactly to the light that's down on 5th and Chelan and stuff. But with it being a designated light to turn, and then they don't turn and stuff, there's 2 ways.
Thank you. We will, any paperwork you have, if you can just bring it to the right-hand side, and that all get distributed out. And you can also, so you know, public comment can also come through emails and things like that too, just so you know. So who do we have next, please? Come on up.
Hi, I'm Dorothy Ferguson. I live at 1650 Concord Place in Wenatchee. I just want to thank the City Council, the Mayor, and the Parks and Rec Department for the wonderful city pool that they maintain. I was there with my grandsons a couple days ago, and my grandson, he accomplished a milestone. He passed the swim test, so he can swim in the deep end now. But he's been working on that a couple of years. And today we went to the new Steamboat Splash Park, and that's wonderful. There's lots of water, lots of space, lots of sitting for the parents and grandparents. And I just want to say, I think Wenatchee is a great place to raise children, you know, and grandchildren. And I'm really honored to be a grandparent who lives here and can enjoy all the great things that Wenatchee provides. Thank you.
Who's next?
Hello, my name is Pete Izetta, and 1950 North Wenatchee Avenue. I own Easy Burgers, and why I wanted to come today was to explain my side of it. Would you like to hear it? Who said that? Hey, this is a little bit about me first. I've been a part of the Wenatchee business community for over 50 years. I have opened my first restaurant in Wenatchee in 1970. I know I don't look that old. And have operated at my current location, 1950, since July 15th of 92. Over the years, my business has become a landmark in the community. In fact, when we first opened the location, the Wenatchee World did a front page article, and they said, landmark by design. That's their quote. Okay. I wanted to let you know that over the years, at current levels, I invest over $3,000 a month just on the outside of my building. That's from painting every 5 years to roofing to blacktopping, ceiling, lawn. Anyway, it averages $3,000 a month to keep the property and remains in the pristine, I think, condition, because I'm the first place you see when you come into town. Beyond just running a business, I always committed to giving back to this community. One of our core philosophies at Easy's is Easy gives back. We take this to heart by providing free meals for veterans on Veterans Day, Mother's, Father's Day, Easter, plus on the first responders and stuff, we always buy all the meals, no matter how long. The last fires we had, I think about 7, 8 years ago, they ate for free for a week. So, the claim that safety concerns warrant these changes, and everybody's probably aware of what they want to do, or what you're proposing to do, I think is questionable. In my decades of experience operating restaurants along Wenatchee Avenue, starting from 25 South Wenatchee Avenue to my present location, I would be interested in records that you can obtain regarding actual accidents, data at Wenatchee Avenue and Main Lane, when and where, and what time it was. Was it 10 years? Is that a 10-year span? Because we're there every day. We haven't seen a lot of accidents.
Since you're the owner, I'd like to give you one more minute, because I know you're representing other people out there, Mr.
All right.
Zeta, so if you, that'd be great.
What's proposed is just unbelievable to me. What they've brought up was to close my main lane entrance. That's one of them. to take out my dumpster and my parking on that side of the road. Coming around on the Wenatchee side, I have to close my entrance, take all my parking, take my reader board. How do I don't even hit the city ordinances or the code for parking by the time it gets done with that. So I'm concerned about all of this. And one other thing I'm concerned about is the walking path, or what is it, the trail to nowhere? Because all that I understand, it goes from Maiden Lane to Walnut. Why? Of course, I own a couple 100 feet of that path that they want to put in there. And I still think that's ridiculous. Just trying to man it, secure it. And I've got buildings back there that I use for my storage sheds. So for storage for easies, I don't know, what would I do with that? Anyway, I just hope, I'll cut it short. One other question that I have, and I don't know who answers this, but Home Depot, Walmart, Wendy's, and Starbucks, are any of these sharing in this negative impact on my property? Are they sharing in fixing that? The way I would fix it is go to Horse Lake Road. That's
Yeah, it's just your time. It's your time to make the comment. We don't respond back at this time, but thank you very much for coming. I do appreciate it.
I'm Dale Hake, 411 South Chelan. I'm a customer of Easy's. That's our Meals on Wheels. I will take it as a personal insult if anything bad happens to that business. There is no better use of that property than what Easy's is making of it right now.
My name is Sally Brawley. My address is 943 Briarwood Drive, East Wenatchee, and I'm here to support my brother-in-law, Pete Izetta, who's married to my sister. And I think that the idea of taking Pete's business from him after what he has put in over the last 50 years to this community is kind of breathtakingly awful. He took a piece of land over 30 years ago that really had no value and nobody saw any value in it, and he turned it into a legacy and a business that not only has employed hundreds of kids over the years, but also has created a legacy and a tradition that people love. And I think that saying, oh, well, we'll take your property, we'll pay you going rate for it, but, and help you relocate your business is kind of insulting to somebody who has worked their tail off to try to make something out of nothing and has built such a legacy here that people love it. And I just hope that the city council sees another way to make those improvements on North Wenatchee Avenue so that you can preserve that history and that tradition, not only for Pete, but for the whole community. Thank you.
Who's next?
My name is Gary Sinclair. My address is P.O. Box 689 Waterville, and we've traded with Pete for quite a few years. It always seems strange to me that you take a producing business with income for the city and turn it into something else. If it's solving a real problem of traffic, have we not, as your council, added to the problem? Have there been businesses coming in after Mr. Izetta had his business? And if there is, then you should share in the problem. Why should he pay for what you generated, I don't mean you personally, but the council generated, did they not see that that could be a problem? Most of us saw there's going to be a big friggin' problem there 20 years ago. And I think businesses like the Chinese place came in after. He's been there years. Why should he pay for poor planning? And I'd say your part, not you specifically, but it's your part, right? You're going to take an income from the city away and put in a trail, which is a very nice thing. And as I'm familiar, you need income. Everything that any bureaucracy does needs income. You would take his income out of the city and put it in a walking trail, and then 5 years from now, maybe say, gee, we're short on our budget this year and whatever. That makes no sense to me. So I hope you've done some really thought on this. There are other businesses, or maybe there's another way that it could be done, and not put this guy out of business. Thanks.
Who's next?
Hello, my name is Pat Vetter. I live at 1906 Harbill, which is basically a block away from Easy's. I've lived there for the last 25 years. I've seen the changes on Maiden Lane. I've seen the changes on Wenatchee Avenue. I can tell you a couple things. One, the idea, looking at a cursory look at what I saw your plan for today, I agree with the woman that spoke first. Don't think it's the best idea. The best idea to do is put in, turn Wenatchee, North Wenatchee Avenue, one way going south, one way going north, get rid of the left turn lanes. Right where the Smitty's is, there's a U-turn lane. I think that's a great idea. But just the other day, I was driving back home, and instead of the guy going a little forward and doing a U-turn in the U-turn lane, he sat there blocking traffic so he could make a left turn, which is, you know, it's ignorant. People, as the woman that was first up here said, lots of times people are sort of ignorant. I saw the city council years ago when they decided to add to Maiden Lane, widen it, talk about, oh, there's not going to be any traffic when we put in Home Depot. Okay, that was 2 years later, Home Depot was totally, well, we got a traffic problem up there. You do have a traffic problem up there, but you also have there's that, besides Maiden Lane, there's that lane, I forget the name of it, right behind Starbucks, goes right down the hill. You know, people can turn left down that hill and turn around. That's what I do if I need to make a turn. Instead of turning left against traffic, I'll just take a turn signal and turn left on the turn signal, turn around at my convenience and come back. There's different ways you can approach this. And I also agree that the trail, what I saw, it's like a 1 block long trail. It's not of much benefit to my mind. There's other places you could put that. So I would heartily ask you guys to reassess what you're doing. It's a lot of money, and I think I'm also, I'm a person that goes and eats at Easy's. I have a brother that lives in Montana. The very first thing he does when he comes into town to visit me is he goes to Easy's. His daughters that live in North Carolina and South Carolina, the first thing they do when they come into town is they go to Easy's to eat dinner, you know, and all my friends also do that. They're not here that often, but that is definitely a community, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, it's an icon in the community, and thank you very much.
My name's Ron Backus, 1450 Castle Rock. I've known Pete and Shelley from a little different point of view than a lot of people. And I know what they do to help this community. And any changes that are gonna happen are gonna be not cost effective for him to keep this business going where it is. And he doesn't have nobody has the operating capital to throw just in such a lump sum to make something work that really isn't going to. And anything that happens to this business is going to affect this community profoundly. They have been nothing but staunch contributors to this community, and they're nothing but honest people trying to make a hard living. his profit margin is really not what you think, most people may think. So anything that he has to change is going to be really hard fought, and it's going to dig really deep into him. And I don't think that's fair, especially for some things that are, for lack of a better way of putting it, frivolous, like a trail going nowhere. Appreciate your time.
Who's next? Seeing, okay, here we go.
Stormy Bachelor, 2495 Harvester Loop, East Wenatchee. I've been working with Pete for a little over 6 years now, and it's just amazing what I've seen him do. The kids that we've seen and started their first careers, teaching them how to do things, the free meals he gives away to veterans and Mother's Day, and I know you guys have heard this, but he's just a powerful, powerful icon, and every day we get somebody that comes in, Seattle, Yakima, over the hill, they're like, we had to stop at Easy's, we haven't been here since we were kids, do you still give out the little cars for kids, for the kids' meals? And it's crazy when you think about it and when you see it personally, how many people come here and it's the first thing that they do, the first thing that they see, the first thing that they want to do, and how many people bring their families there. And I just think it's amazing that he's made such a place and that we've been able to, be that first place for all the kids to come work at and teach and learn. And we already have a problem with not being able to get cars in and out fast enough. If we go down to one entrance, it would make it inoperable. So just as an employee's side of it, I just kind of wanted to put that out there. Thank you.
My name is Dennis English, and my address is 225 19th Street Northeast in East Wenatchee. I was born and raised here in Wenatchee many, many years ago. And my biggest concern is not only the fact that it caused a problem with Peter Zeta and his wife, but that intersection, I feel, I've been in traffic law enforcement for most of my adult life. And the biggest problem when I go out there and eat, whether it's there across the street or I go up to Lowe's or wherever it may be, the biggest problem is the high velocity of traffic coming in from Cashmere and that, but the speed, that's where the accidents are being caused. No matter what you do to that intersection, it's not going to improve accidents or anything in that vicinity because of that speed. Now, my other concern is what's going to happen when it turns into a thing that happened because of government changing things and later on saying, boy, that wasn't probably the right decision we made. Perfect example of that is the railroad station. When they took that out and moved things around, the problem that that's caused. I just don't think that traffic up there, when I've ever been there, I hardly ever see anybody walking on the sidewalk out there. There's no traffic as far as pedestrian traffic that's a big concern. And I think that the safest way that I've found is I go up all the way to Western and come down Maple Lane and turn into that first exit because it's the safest. And I can usually get in there right away, whereas trying to get in that lane to turn anywhere because of all the traffic that's backed up, trying to get up to the Home Depot and Walmart has got that left turn lane so blocked, and then somebody's sitting there, and then you try to get in, and next thing you know, you've got cars head on. So anyway, I don't think that they've looked at it properly as far as accidents, knowing what's going to happen in the future. And there isn't a time go by that somebody doesn't call me from out of town and want to know, yeah, we're going to be going into that restaurant on the right, just as you come into Wenatchee. That's the sign we go by, and it's Easy's, and they can see the hamburger bun up there and that. So it's a mark and a landmark for the city of Wenatchee and has been for years, and hopefully it will be for the future in that, because it is part of Wenatchee, like the other things, like the bus steeple, and the railroad. It's just something that Wenatchee stands for, and it's one of the few things that we have left in this society to approve and appreciate. Thank you very much.
Who's next?
My name is Roxanne Ashmore, 125 North James in East Wenatchee. I've managed Easy's Burger Deluxe since I was 19 years old, 28 years now. I've been part of Petey Zetta and his wife and Kyle, and it's just one big dysfunctional family, but you know, we keep it maintained, and we've developed something, I believe, that with the employees that we have and how long, like our cook, 21 years, our maintenance manager's been there 25 years. I mean, there's just so many employees that have been there, and just due to the fact of Petey Zetta and how caring he is and how well he takes care of us. How busy we have been lately. I mean, just it's ridiculous how like we can be lined all the way out into the street, all three sections to get in there, to where people are waiting in the street just to get to us. And if we close down both of those entrances and only have one way to get in there, it's gonna be almost impossible to be able to continue to do this. And at his old age, there's no way. There's no way that he's gonna be able to stay open. And then it's just gonna be problematic, I feel like, and it's just not gonna be able to, we're not gonna be able to continue. And I just feel like with how hard he's worked and what he's done and how caring he is for his employees and the community, I just feel like it would just be troublesome, 100%. Thank you.
Who's next? Seeing one, going once. Come on up. Well, you already came up, so just, sorry.
Okay.
Anybody else? Is there anybody online? Again, please email city council and we'll get everything, all the documents from you that you have. So, you have anybody online? Okay. We got somebody right here, so we'll go ahead.
I just wanted to tell a little story really quickly. I'm Shauna. I live on 229 Emerson Avenue, Wenatchee. As far as I can remember, my grandparents' big tradition was every Tuesday they would come home, bring all the grandkids over, and they'd get Easy's Burgers for all of us. The one thing that always makes me think of home here is the couple of staple restaurants that we have. And there's a community around that. And I may not have all the expertise on road building and all those other things, but I do know that I don't want to see a beloved building to so many members of this community taken away from us for something that I really don't think is going to benefit the traffic. I mean, people have made amazing points about people aren't going to use that U-turn correctly. There's safer options, I think, in my opinion, to make, and there are options that benefit our community more. That's all I wanted to say.
Anybody else? Sir?
Hi, I'm Craig Homechek. I know a few of you. I live at 1126 Rouge O'Lee in Wenatchee. First, I'd like to correct a mistake. Pete will not reach old age until next year. I just sincerely hope that you'll think twice and be very careful when you're messing with someone's life work. And that's why we elected you, is to think about things before you do them. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ava Smith, 1610 North Ann Avenue, East Wenatchee. I've been an employee at Easy's for just about 4 months now, which isn't quite as long as the 28 years. But I will say, out of my 2 jobs, it's definitely the best one I've ever had. And the people here are so kind, and it just really isn't fair, the position that you're putting him in. As just somebody who has served the community for so long, I feel like the solution is causing actually a lot of problems, which is just isn't going to get us anywhere. And as for the walking path, people do quite enough walking up to our walk-up window to get milkshakes. So that's a problem solved there. Thank you so much.
Mayor, City Council, my name is Bill Lang. I live at 2101 Sutton Place. We're kind of turning on a dime tonight. This is, I've got probably a lot more to say later, but this is an iconic city landmark. It's a tradition. There's so much more involved. Just sitting here for these last 15 minutes has been absolutely amazing. It's a great family. They've sowed their lives into this community. I think I'm speaking on behalf of a lot of people here. Please work this out with these people. Do whatever you can. I know you're between a rock and a hard place. You've got traffic on this island with 2 bridges to deal with. It's growing exponentially. There's a lot of things that you folks have to deal with. But at the end of the day, it's all about the people. This is a great town. This is a great community. So if you could just work, Mayor, City Council, with these people, if there's some way to work this out. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Anthony Gonzalez, 1107 Westwood Avenue. There's not really much more I can say that everybody else hasn't already said, but I came up here to just make you another person, right? Easy's has become a part of my family. I haven't had a very good family in my life. So gaining Easy's helped me a lot. I don't want to lose my family from stupid road construction ideas. I think that is, I'm not a good speaker, I apologize, but just take into consideration, it's not just a business, it's a family. Thank you.
My name's Tom Lewis. I live at 603 West North Wenatchee. Statistically wise, I think that all these people here represent a small segment of this community. I think statistically we show everybody in here probably represents 10 more people. We've worked, Pete I've known for ever since I lived in this valley. You know, you worked out something with the igloo and you worked out something with Yenny's. And I think that I know that when you really are sitting in a hard spot, I've been there, I know what you're going through. But this community is so great, and everybody that lives here, and I know, and I really listen to the people that move into this valley. And this valley is only going to grow. It's not going, it's too beautiful, it's too wonderful. But we need to reserve our history. And that spot, I probably go there 3 times a month. I wait in line, but I know what I'm going to get. I'm going to get a home-cooked hamburger. And the children that Pete has hired and went through his business, it means a lot. There's a lot of people that has been through his ring. I know that this is a hard spot for you. How many times have you had this many people in your council? Not many. I've been bored. So, Mayor, Commissioners, please do your best, and I know you will. But this is a very, very important issue for the citizens of Wenatchee. Thank you.
Who's next? Tammy, can you bring that down for me, please?
Oops. There it goes. Hello, my name is Tracy Lewis, 21, oh, it's I said my mom's address, 1450 Castle Rock Avenue. Everybody has said basically everything that I've been wanting to say, but one thing I do want to say is that I've known Pete and Shelley for a long time. My mother-in-law and I used to go to Shelley's in the mall, and we loved it there, and my sister-in-law too. And my husband, who you heard from, he works for Pete on his vehicle, and so I've gotten to know them even more, and we go to Easy's, and my parents go to Easy's all the time to get the milkshakes especially, which I love. But I just wanted you to have somebody else to hear from, so thank you.
Who's next? Thank you for everybody coming, and I encourage you again to email us with other comments. We'll go on to our consent items at this time.
I'll make a motion for the city council to approve the agenda, vouchers, and minutes from previous meetings. Resolution number 2025-17, reappointing Clementine Ballinger as a student member of the Wenatchee Arts, Recreation, and Parks Commission, and the final contract voucher with Holm Builders, Inc. for city project number 2321, Washington State Department of Enterprise Services tenant improvement, and authorize the city administrator's signature.
Second. We have a motion by Councilmember Atkinson, and a second by Councilmember Hornby for City Council to approve the agenda vouchers and minutes from previous meetings, resolution number 2025-17, reappointing Clementine Ballinger as a student member of the Wenatchee Arts, Recreation, and Parks Commission, and the final contract voucher with Holm Builders Incorporated for city project number 2321, Washington State Department of Enterprise Services tenant improvements, and authorize city administrator's signature. Any discussion or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. We'll go to our presentation. Who has that?
I
Councilman
do.
Navarro Gomez.
So our proclamation today of the City of Wenatchee, whereas parks and recreation activities and experiences provide opportunities for people to...
Actually, I'm going to interject. Can you
Oh,
just wait?
sorry.
We'll wait a minute until people
Okay.
leave, so it's
Thank
a little quieter. Margie.
I was going to use my big voice.
after
I
this.
have one.
Is that okay?
You're a teacher.
I am a teacher. Jose doesn't want to hear my teacher voice.
No.
He said no.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's okay.
Councilmember Navarro Gomez.
Okay. Yep.
Please.
Okay. Whereas parks and recreation activities and experiences provide opportunities for people to live, grow, and develop into contributing members of the community. And whereas parks and recreation enrich life experiences for members of our community. And whereas parks and recreation agencies in the community provide outlets for physical activities, socialization, and stress-reducing experiences. And whereas parks, playgrounds, trails, natural areas, and recreation and aquatic facilities make our city an attractive and desirable place to live, work, play, and visit, which contributes to our economic vitality. And whereas parks and natural areas provide a welcome respite from our fast-paced, high-tech lifestyles while protecting and preserving our natural environment. And whereas parks and recreation agencies touch the lives of individuals, families, groups, and the entire community, which positively impact the social and economic health and environmental quality of our city. Now, therefore, I, Mike Poyer, Mayor of the City of Wenatchee, do hereby proclaim July 2025 as Parks and Recreation Month in the City of Wenatchee, and encourage all citizens to join me in participating in and supporting the many recreational programs and facilities provided by both public and private agencies. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the great seal of the City of Wenatchee to be affixed on the 10th of July, 2025.
Thank you. Who do we have? Well, it's a good time. It's in summer, I tell you. It's like, it's fun to drive by like Pioneer Park and see all these kids running around. So you have to say a few words and some of the programs or something. Put you on the spot.
You're gonna put me on the spot?
Yes.
Good evening, I'm Darcy Ronnie. I'm the current chair of the Arts Park and Recreation Commission, and it's my pleasure to contribute to all of this activity and wonderful cultural resources we have with arts, parks, and all our wonderful sporting programs. And I gotta say, the department, they work their fannies off, especially this time of year with temp employees and all sorts of programs for our children. It's just great to be a part of it.
I was hoping I'd get out of this. Yeah, I agree. I think I want to toast to Dave back there who pushed us up here to celebrate just all the work that our parks group is doing and our recreation staff as well. We have great amenities and services that we provide, but also just great places to come and gather and do all of that. So that's what I'm enjoying about being on the commission, and I imagine Darcy as well.
So this is a volunteer thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah, thanks a lot. You guys are both impressive. Work for the city and then you put in the extra hours. So thank you so much.
Tabby's like a photo. Ready?
Thanks, you
Thank
guys.
you.
Thanks a lot. I think we had a request to take like a 5-minute break here. So we will go on to our consent items in about 5 minutes. Okay, our 5 minutes is up, and now we'll go to our action items.
Yay, short.
Okay. All right, now we're back to our action items. Who's Darcy? Thank you. Volunteer, work for the city, volunteer, work for the city. Thanks, Darcy.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Darcy Ronning, Utility Project Manager with the City of Wenatchee. I am coming before you tonight with a contract for work for Gray and Osborne for their professional services. We're getting ready to do a comp plan amendment, and we've obtained Gray and Osborne for the services to help us move forward with additional modeling for the city on sewer pinch points related to housing infill and our growth, and a general update to our capital improvements list to make it more robust so we can go after some additional funding. And so I'd like to seek permission for you to approve the agreement for their engineering services and authorize the city administrator to sign the agreement.
Your Honor, I'll make a motion for the City Council to approve the agreement with Gray and Osborne for their engineering professional services on the sewer comprehensive plan amendment project and authorize City Administrator to sign the agreement.
Second. We have a motion by Councilmember Hornby and second by Councilmember Cuevas for City Council to approve an agreement with Gray and Osborne for their engineering professional services on the sewer comprehensive plan amendment project and authorize City Administrator to sign the agreement. Councilmember Ewer had to go, so just so you guys know, so she's not online anymore. But obviously we still have a quorum. Any comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
City Administrator.
Good evening, City Council. Laura Gloria, City Administrator. The item before you is ordinance number 2025-06, so the City of Wenatchee related to creating a new code for the Wenatchee Junior City Council. So the Wenatchee Junior City Council was a proposal that was brought forward by the City Council and designed to engage high school students in local governance, civic responsibility, and leadership development. If approved, the code would allow would enact the Junior City Council, which would consist of 7 members and 2 alternates, drawing from public, private, and homeschool high school students residing in the city of Wenatchee. The goals of the Wenatchee Junior Council would be to serve as an advisory board to the City Council and help find solutions for local youth problems, reporting these to the City Council, provide community youth with an outlet for expressing interests and opinions regarding city ordinances, policies, other items that might lend themselves to future policies, any action the city is considering taking, consider other issues, and overall just help make the public, including the youth of the city, aware of actions the City Council is pursuing, and then the role that the Wenatchee Junior City Council can interact with. So again, the code kind of lays out the membership, the application process. If approved, the council and a council liaison as well as city staff would work forward on the rules of procedure and kind of fine tune those. Logistically, the Junior City Council would meet once a month on the first Thursdays of each month at 6 p.m. So some of that information is already included in here, but again, we would kind of fine tune that with the rules and procedures. I'm happy to answer any questions if there are.
With that, I would like to proudly make a motion for City Council to adopt the ordinance number 2025-06, creating a new chapter 1.110 of the Wenatchee City Code relating to the Wenatchee Junior City Council.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilman Navarro Gomez and second by Councilmember Harold for City Council to adopt ordinance number 2025-06, creating a new chapter 1.110 of the Wenatchee City Code relating to the Wenatchee Junior City Council. I'll make a comment. Thank you, Navarro Gomez. Thank you, Councilmember Atkinson, for pursuing it and getting coordinating with our city administrator and bringing this to light. It wouldn't have happened if it wasn't you three. So that's the fact. So providing it passes. So
Yeah,
just wanna make
provided,
that-
yeah. And I want to say thank you to Laura and to Danielle for your help, of course, to Myra, and to back in January when Scott Tiedeman's class was here, and the mayor's genius was to say they couldn't get credit for it unless they came and talked to somebody that was up here. And so I spoke with Louisiana, and she said, how could we get more involved? And here we are. So, yeah, thank you all very much for your participation and your support.
And thanks again for involving the youth. This is a great opportunity for them. I'm really happy for you two council members to keep our youth active in our community. This is really fascinating. Thank you.
And I just want to reemphasize what our young students said. They are the youth of now. I think oftentimes we forget to listen. All of us are so busy in our day-to-day struggles, right, as adults, but they have such wonderful strengths, and I'm just so excited to see our city move in this direction, provided it passes. Thank you, guys.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Good evening, Danielle Marchant, City Attorney. Before you is proposed resolution 2025-21. Essentially, the City Council has the contracting authority unless the council delegates that to another entity or person. Non-disclosure agreements or confidentiality agreements are a limited form of a contract. And the resolution is proposing to delegate that authority to the mayor, and in the mayor's absence, to the pro tem to enter into those. The contracts cannot override any statutory obligation to disclose the agreement. So there is a provision in that resolution that the city attorney reviews the NDAs and the confidentiality agreements before the mayor signs them. Are there any questions?
I did have one question. Is there time on this? Is these NDAs for forever? Like, just
Well,
curious.
The NDAs, the timeframe will be as stated in the NDA. So each NDA might have a different timeframe.
Okay.
So.
Entertain a motion or other questions?
I'll make a motion for City Council to approve resolution number 2025-21, authorizing the mayor or the mayor pro tem in the mayor's absence to sign confidentiality non-disclosure agreements.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Rojan-Stan and second by Councilmember Hornby for City Council to approve resolution number 2025-21, authorizing the mayor or the mayor pro tem in the mayor's absence to sign confidential non-disclosure agreements. Any other comments or? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, now we'll go to our public hearing regarding a 6-year transportation improvement program update. Staff will first give a report, followed by public testimony. It will be limited to 3 minutes on public testimony. And I think that's it. Who's our staff coming up? Emma?
Your Honor, may I make a comment before staff does their presentation?
Of course.
Okay, thank you. In the essence of pure transparency, I need to let you know that I have had contact with Mr. Izzetta. Well, not directly. I have had contact with him through a coworker and my husband. My response to him was, you need to talk with the mayor because I don't have the information. I have known Mr. Izzetta since I first met my husband almost 45 years ago. And he also advertises on my husband's radio station, KCSY-FM, of which I am a co-owner. And I just want to make that very clear.
Thank you, Councilmember Harold.
You're welcome.
Okay. Good evening, council, mayor. My name is Emma Honeycutt. I'm the assistant city engineer here at the city. And this is Jake Lewing. He's the city engineer at the city. And we're here tonight to present you the 6-year Transportation Improvement Program update. So we're just gonna kind of, we're just kind of gonna go through sort of what the tip is. Just one second, bear with me. So the TIP tip stands for the Transportation Improvement Program. It's a planning tool the city uses to handle how we look at transportation infrastructure improvements at the city. It's attached as an attachment to the council agenda item. Our current tip is about, I think, 4 pages long. We as a city are statutorily required to have a tip and to update it each year. There's a 6-year horizon on the tip, so it has basically just 6 years of transportation projects that have been identified via as needs arise, as we grow, as we do some region-wide modeling. The 3 main categories of projects are safety, mobility, so congestion, and preservation. And we bring it to before council each year for adoption via ordinance. So this is just kind of a overview. I went into a little bit more detail a couple weeks ago, but this is an overview of how we do planning at the city. Like I said, we have 3 main categories of projects: mobility, safety, and preservation. From each of those categories, we have city policy around each of those categories. What I have listed here are the policies that have been adopted by council. And then from that, staff puts plans together and looks holistically at the city, at intersections and roads, looks at crash data, looks at traffic volume projections, both now and 50-year growth out to 2050 and beyond. And then comes up with a list of projects that are identified based on that. So specifically, we have mobility projects that are reflective of growth just from people moving to the valley. And then also some mobility projects are triggered by development, and as we know, those projects are paid for by development as well. And then, well, let me see what else I'm looking at. So just an overview of the document that you have in front of you. There's 77 total projects on the document. The updates, the main updates, just the highlights of the updates from last year are a couple of projects that got bumped up from being unfunded to funded because our engineering group went after some funding grant opportunities and were successful. For example, the Bridge Street project to complement the pedestrian bridges project that's currently being built. So Bridge Street's gonna have some more facilities put onto it to allow it to be walkable and less kind of like a semi-truck factory. And then also the bulb outs at Ferry and Stevens Street are, excuse me, this kind of came from Columbia Elementary closing and working with the school district pretty closely last year to determine how to get those kiddos across the street down to Lincoln from the neighborhoods. We completed a couple projects, Worthen Street, which was enhancing the pedestrian trail on Worthen Street, and then also the Mega Kitchik project down Wenatchee Avenue. So our kind of citywide planning identified a couple of projects that weren't on last year's tip. Our CDTC, the Chelan Douglas Transportation Council, did some modeling that identified, that kind of pegged the intersection of McKittrick and Western as a place that within the next like 40 years might have a mobility issue. It behooves us to put stuff like that on the tip now because it makes us eligible to go after funding. It helps us prioritize annually what we go after for grant funding, and it keeps us from getting surprised when that happens. So we stay ahead of it in that way. And then also the intersection of Springwater and Princeton, we kind of did some citywide analysis with crash data, and that popped up as a opportunity to make some adjustments and further refine it. That intersection in particular has a lot of competing interests, such as kiddos walking to school, cars driving down Springwater, and it's got pretty high traffic. So that's why that popped up, and we're glad to see it so we can start to take a look at it. Just kind of also just to kind of drill into a little bit, we've had some citywide programmatic planning efforts going on the last couple of years that continue to hone in on groups of projects and how we address these holistic problems like sidewalk gaps and figuring out how to get a connected bicycle network that makes sense so that we don't have as many different modes competing on really busy streets like Ferry Street. And so we've got, currently this tip has sort of like line items for those opportunities. We're currently in the process of drilling down, especially with like the comp plan update, of nailing down exactly what those projects will look like and then specifically listing them on the tip. And I guess with that, unless you have something to add, Jake, we can entertain questions.
Not a question, just want to say thanks for how hard you guys work, like, to think about how our streets and transportation can improve so we are eligible to apply for these grants and get the funding to do all this cool stuff. Just want to say good job.
Just one more plug there is, it really is a collaborative effort. A lot of things come on our tip due to when we receive feedback from the community or expressing some concerns, we'll go out, evaluate it, look more into the crash data, and yes, there's a need here, so we're able to put it on their tip. So we really, it is a planning tool. It identifies all the needs that have been identified in the city, and we get it from all sources and evaluate it. So it really is a collaborative tool that we're using across the city.
It's, especially as we've begun to put more and more effort into how it's organized, it's a tool that we can use to look at things holistically. It's not funding commitments, it's not commitments we're making to any one funding source. There's funding sources listed on the tips because we're thinking about it and we have to strategize how we can make it come into fruition to plan that. And as you can see, there's a lot of need out there. Okay.
Any other questions? Then we'll turn it over to public comment. All right, thank you, staff. Okay, at this time, ask the public to come up and we'll give you 3 minutes.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Brian Campbell, 1837 Jefferson Street. I just wanted to make a comment regarding on the city's website. If you go online and you look up the information about the sales tax increase that you're going to be putting on the ballot coming out real soon, it's nice big print on what you're talking about as far as the additional 0.02% or 0.2% sales tax to bring it up to the 0.3. But when you look at the other uses of what the money can be used for, you have to actually click on the document so that you can open it up. And then once that document's opened up, they've got uses of what the funding can be used for, which is great. Sidewalks, roads, all those kinds of things. But transparency is so important, and it talks about transparency. The other uses is literally in a smaller font at the bottom, and that kind of doesn't look like you're trying to bring that to the forefront. It looks like you're trying to hide it. And then when you do click on, if you want to look under the other uses and what the funding can be used for, you pull up a chart. I haven't found a way to make it any bigger, but I can't read a single number on this chart. So I just wanted to make sure that the public is being informed properly when they make a decision, and everything's put out there in a transparent and even way as far as what everything's going to be used for. So please have somebody look at that website and make sure that the information is put out there evenly and not put something in smaller font that you don't want them to see. Thank you.
Who else? Seeing none. Any other questions from the council? Then we'll close the public hearing at this time.
Your Honor, make a motion for City Council to adopt ordinance number 2025-05, adopting the 2026-2031 Comprehensive 6-Year Transportation Improvement Program, and directing the same to be filed with the Washington State Secretary of Transportation.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Rojan and second by Councilmember Hornby for City Council to adopt ordinance number 2025-05, adopting the 2026-2031 Comprehensive Six-Year Transportation Improvement Program and directing the same to be filed with the Washington State Secretary of Transportation. Any other comments or discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Now we got one more public hearing. It's regarding the multifamily tax exemption agreement, Amendment 1417 Fifth Street with FCP LLC staff. We'll first give a report, followed then by public testimony. And same rules, 3 minutes for the public, and here's our staff of one.
A staff of one.
All right.
Glenn DeVries, Community Development Director. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Before you tonight, you have a multifamily tax exemption agreement amendment request at 1417 Fifth Street with, for FCP LLC. Just a little history, Eider Properties LLC submitted an application for a multifamily housing limited property tax exemption on June 2021. Where it requested a 12-year limited property tax exemption per city code for for said properties. The application stated that all of the 14 units would be rented and sold at an affordable price to low and moderate income households. The city and Eider entered into this agreement on April 11th, 2023. Eider Properties LLC quit-claimed their interest in the property to FCP LLC on May 9th, 2024. FCP has proposed this amendment before you tonight. They are asserting that the original application and designation of all units as affordable was a scrivener's error, where the intent was really to have only the amount of units for low or moderate income households that was necessary to qualify for the 12-year limited tax property exemption. Due to the scrivener's errors in the application, the agreement requires all 14 units of the property to be for low or moderate income households in order to qualify for the 12-year tax exemption. So therefore, FCP LLC, a lot of letters there, has requested that the city amend the MFT agreement to reflect that only the amount necessary to qualify for the 12-year limited tax property exemption be required. According to city code, the 12-year limited tax exemption requires that at least 20% of the housing units be rented or sold at an affordable price to low and moderate income households. The property has a 14-unit complex, and FCP LLC proposes to provide 3 rental housing units to low and moderate income households, which meets the 20% threshold. The project has already received and has been completed and received a certificate of occupancies under our building permit process. But FCP has not filed their application for the final tax exemption, and they're looking for this amendment. So before the council tonight, you have 3 options. You can approve the amendment request as presented in Resolution 2025-22. And the second amendment, this is the second amendment to this agreement. This would require the project to provide 20% of the total units or 3 units as affordable to low and moderate income households for the 12 years of the agreement. The second 2 actions, you could either reject or take no action, which would have the same effect, which would mean that in order to qualify for the tax exemption, all units would have to be for low and moderate income households, or the property owner could choose to just not submit their final tax certification, and then no units would be low to moderate income offered. They would be free to choose what prices to offer for those. Happy to answer any questions you might have now or later.
So there, and I think you worked with Danielle, but there's no legal obligation they have to if it was on air or not on air, they don't have to comply to that original agreement legally. They can just elect, say, no, I don't want to
Correct. They can choose
They
to
have that
just
right
not
to do it.
proceed, and they're under no obligation to provide low to moderate income housing units if they don't take advantage of the tax break and file that final certificate. So they could just walk away from the agreement and choose not to provide anything.
Choose not to provide it. Okay. That helps me.
Thank you.
Other questions for Glenn before he walks away here?
So it boils down to, do we want to get 3 or do we want none?
None.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. Public comment? Flint, come on up. No, okay. Flint and I were talking about something else earlier, had a couple of meetings, and I thought it went really well about future progress in our city. So I'm going to reach out and say, you know, we don't always say yes, we don't always say no, but I appreciate you coming to us with coming to us. Yeah. Thank you. Sorry.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, City Council members, and staff. My name is Christy Thomason, and I'm representing FCP LLC. I want to thank you for allowing us to address our multifamily housing property tax exemption application for a 14-unit project located at 1417 Fifth Street in Wenatchee. We're here hopefully to correct a mistake in our application and request a contract adjustment to align with state law. Our application mistakenly notes that all 14 units would be low income. This was an apparent error. What we intended to convey is that all 14 units would qualify for low income designation based on their design, and not that all would be provided as low income units with rent and income restrictions. It is our current understanding that the agreement demands 100% of the units to be low income. The intent here was not to limit any single unit to being designated solely as low income, but to note that all units could be used in whatever order to meet the MFTE program requirements. Our intent was always to meet the state's requirements of applying 20% affordability restrictions as outlined in RCW 8414. Our intent was not to have the city require us to be more restrictive than state requirements. Requiring all 14 units to be low income is more restrictive than state law and makes participation in the multifamily housing property tax exemption program financially unfeasible and would prevent us from providing any affordable housing units to our city. However, aligning with the 20% requirements enables us the opportunity to provide at least 3 affordable housing units to our Wenatchee Valley. And with that, we respectfully request that our multifamily exemption agreement be adjusted to clarify 20% affordability restriction in compliance with state law under RCW 8414. This adjustment will allow us the opportunity to provide much-needed affordable housing to our community. In summary, we kindly ask for your support in adjusting the agreement to apply the minimum 20% affordability restriction for the 14 units located at 1417 Fifth Street. Again, doing so will allow us the opportunity to provide 20% affordable units to the Valley. Without this correction, we would be unable to do so. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have at this time, and again, I thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Anybody else? Public? Come on up.
Hello, Flint Hartwig, 4705 US 97A. And I just want to really thank you guys for the programs that you have offered. These deals really make a big difference on the number of apartments that we get in town. And I don't know what a scrivener is, but that's me. Being completely ignorant to the process and, using city staff to help me fill that out. You'll notice the rent numbers don't work on that application either. It's the first time doing it. We want to follow the code, and we just want to say thanks for offering these opportunities, and we did have a great meeting earlier. I'm also sitting on the board of the Building North Central Washington, and we're going to try to get a little liaison going there, because when you're in that world, you hear just a lot of static about how permit process are difficult, and it's just the nature of bureaucracy. And a lot of times it's just again, back to ignorance. Just, we're pretty good at pounding nails, not really good at filling out paperwork. So we want to try to improve some of these relationships and have some, as a builders association, have some, somebody to kind of grease the wheels and move things along. But again, thanks for your consideration on this. It really does make a difference. And we want to keep building. You guys, probably, if anybody followed my campaign, I am still 100% on board for affordable housing. We have some ideas to provide some small little houses that anyone can buy. And, yeah, we just look forward to doing more. So thanks for your time.
Who's next?
Brian Campbell, 1837 Jefferson Street. This one's difficult because it takes me about 30 minutes to say what I need to say. I'm a friend of Flint, so that makes it even harder. But I was here 2 weeks ago at the last meeting and in support of a couple of these programs for affordable housing, and I stated that the thing I wanted to make sure of is that the program is being properly run now and that we don't have these mistakes where last time, 2 years ago, we lost our only 84 affordable housing units from this same Scrivener's error. This whole thing does not look good to me because the last time that happened, that actually increased the value of the developer's property about $7 million because of the additional cash flow you can get from market rates versus the affordable housing rates. This time, there's about $1 million that would be given to the developers in equity, and we would lose 11 of our affordable housing units. So we lost 84 2 years ago, and it's the same Scrivener's error. I don't know if the council is even aware of all the different details that have gone on with this project, but it's been full of mistakes. I think there was a property line issue that's trying to be corrected. I think the use of the property has changed to where it's not month to month for everybody in there like a normal apartment building. They've got where they can rent to multiple people in the same units, kind of in and out. A whole bunch of things have changed with this project. There have been people living in it for at least a year. I think most of the units are rented up. I would like to know what those rents are. I don't think any of them were probably rented at the affordable housing rate. There's a fire hydrant out front with plastic around it. Are they protected properly? There's just a myriad of things. I talked to one of the tenants in there, and they've definitely been in there for over a year. It just doesn't smell right on what's going on here. I think there's a whole bunch of things that need to be investigated and disclosed before the council makes a decision on this. So my recommendation, for whatever it's worth, would be to take option number 3 and do a little more investigating, because the Ida Properties directors are the identical directors of FCP LLC. I don't know if you're aware of that. So the same thing that we went through 2 years ago, now they're doing it again. And I don't think that's what you really understand is happening here. So I would encourage you to get some more information before you make a decision on that. Thank you.
Good evening, Council. My name is Chris Widener. I am at 427 Douglas, and I'll point out a couple years ago when we addressed a similar issue with another property, I was working with Eider and Flint and Chad and Andy, and I'm not now. I'm doing something else, but because I was involved in that process and kind of intimately familiar with the numbers and the program and RCWs and WCCs, they asked if I'd just make myself available for comment, then also to answer any questions that you guys have. And I'm actually kind of glad that Mr. Campbell popped up and went first, because I think there are some legitimate questions there that have easy answers, but on the surface, I think they're definitely worth asking. And I think I can answer the vast majority of them for you guys. So I wanted to briefly touch on 3 things. One is, what's the actual effect of the vote? Like, what are the choices that you guys have available to you? 2, what are the relevant facts? And then 3, what's the heart of the matter? So I think the decision that you guys have, Mr. Campbell articulated that the decision that you guys have is 100% of the units being affordable or 20. That's just not the case. As Mr. DeVries pointed out, the program itself is not mandatory participation. The agreement that you arrive at and the program put together in the RCWs and the WCCs is simply, if you maintain this amount of affordable units, you will continue to get the tax abatement on the project. So if at any point a developer or a landowner were to fall out of compliance with that, or choose to go out of compliance with that, the tax abatement would simply drop off. So the choice that you guys have right now is really, do we want 20% of our units to be affordable, or do we want 0% of our units to be affordable? Because it's not financially feasible to have 100% of them be affordable. Otherwise, these guys wouldn't be able to pay the loan on the, the construction loan for having built the units. So that's the question. Do we want 20% of them to be affordable, or do we want 0% of them to be affordable? The second thing is kind of the facts. And if you look at the RCW, you look at the WCC, and you look at the application itself, all of those are very clear that the 12-year program, in order to be compliant with that, you have to have 20% of your units be affordable to low or moderate income households according to HUD data. The section where it asks how many of your units are going to be affordable, there's no text in there that specifies that the word affordable is being used in a colloquial sense. It's literally just the word affordable. So I actually don't know that they made a mistake when they filled that out, because there was nothing that calls out, is this affordable under this specific colloquial definition? And so I think the reaction that Flint had when he filled it out is, well, are people going to be able to afford it? Yeah, because otherwise nobody will be able to rent them. But the rest of that application specifies, in order to qualify for the 12-year program, 20% of the units need to be rented out affordably, 20% for HUD data.
I am, yes. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other public comment? Yeah, we'll turn it back over to staff at this time, but thank you for volunteering. We'll turn it back over to staff for any other questions city council wants to ask staff.
Are you aware of anything on this occupancy question that was raised? And is it allowed to be occupied at this time?
Yeah, they've been provided occupancy for, under the building code. They just have chosen not, at this point, to submit their final certificate to get a tax break. So right now, they're not under any obligation until they submit that tax, final tax certificate. At that point, they would be under obligation.
And during that time, we would have an exact definition of what affordable entails and not leave it as vague, or does it continue to stay that vague?
It is not that big because they have to provide low to moderate income units, and those are defined.
Okay, thank you.
And defined under code, and then we coordinate with HUD on the incomes necessary.
Any other questions for Glenn? Okay, this time I'm going to close the public hearing. There's
Ready for motion?
I can do it.
Ready? Yep. No. Your Honor, I'll make a motion for City Council to approve Resolution 2025-22, authorizing the execution of a second amendment to the multifamily housing limited property tax exemption agreement with FCP LLC.
Second.
So the motion by Councilmember Hornby and second by Councilmember Rosenstein. Sorry. For City Council approved resolution number 2025-22, authorizing the execution of a second amendment to the multifamily housing limited property tax exemption agreement with FCP LLC. Any other discussion or comments?
I have a comment, Your Honor. When we changed it from a tax exemption for just building multi-housing, we didn't require any kind of discount for low income. This is how we want this to work. We want our private sector to build housing and give us 20% for low income and moderate housing. So I'm more than comfortable to move forward with this motion.
Any other comments? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Reports. Councilmember Harold?
Well, I attended the Association of Washington Cities Conference 2 weeks ago. And I was there also with Councilmember Gomez and Atkinson. It was a great conference. I sat on the Legislative Priorities Committee, and things that came up that they were concerned about was homelessness is still on the docket. Affordable housing, they also talked about working with the state to see if we could do something to change our building codes so it creates less impact to the builders and they can save money cut costs. They're also very concerned about, we talked about revenues that the state keeps trying to take from the cities to fill their huge deficit, and public safety is at the top. There's still talk about trying to push through the 3% cap on property taxes as well. We'll see where that goes. It didn't get through last session. You won't see a lot of changes as far as this session, just simply because it is a shorter session, and there won't be any, they just won't make any big changes to the budget. However, they are saying that the current deficit is going to continue through 26, possibly longer, and things are kind of bleak at the state level.
I appreciate you, we got together after the conference, and I appreciate you debriefing me, and I did some research on them, so it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming back and
It was very interesting.
participating with that. Councilmember Cuevas?
I don't have anything, Your Honor.
Okay. On this side?
Yesterday I had the Community Action Council Board meeting. The renovations to the new headquarters is moving along. They should be able to move in completely in September. The food pantry is open, so just like to spread the word if that'd be a good resource for anyone in our community. And, yeah, thanks.
I have nothing, Your Honor.
Continue to work with Laura, meeting with the museum, and I think we're making progress incrementally. And I circulated some emails about the police, the Citizens Academy that the Wenatchee Police Department offers, just to put a plug in for that, for anyone who might be interested to attend. It starts in August, so, yeah.
The only other thing that I would add is, for those of you that are soccer fanatics, I attended a session on the World Cups, our wonderful World Cup that's coming up next year in Seattle, and whether we think it's going to impact us or not, it really is. A lot of the players will actually be staying in Kennewick. Some of them will be staying in Spokane. So that will bring in a lot of tourism to the Wenatchee Valley. A lot of cities are actually planning to do watch parties of some sort, so just something for us to kind of contemplate. Some cities also talked about how we can engage our youth and maybe doing little outdoor events connected to the World Cup, given that not all of our children have the opportunity to attend such an iconic event, but just something that I'd like to kind of put out there for all of us to think about how we can engage with our different boards on finding ways to enhance that opportunity here in our valley.
When you describe, I picture a big TV coming down here.
Yeah,
so.
and we do have to go through World Cup because there's actual restrictions on watch parties, et cetera. I learned that any pub or winery is not just supposed to put the games up. I guess there's a certain license that you have to obtain.
Councilman Navarro Gomez is inviting everybody to her house.
Yes, join me for soccer.
Do we have anything else from staff? Nope. All right. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a first and a second to adjourn the meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.